I'm going to try to go live every day for the next however long. For the foreseeable future. Sometimes it's going to be here in the studio. Sometimes, like last night, it's just going to be out there live on the mats, coaching practice. But I'm committed to doing a live as much as I can for a little while. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live on Instagram right now, and that one should be live as well. Here's the main thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk CJI and ADCC, who's still in, who's over on which platform now, and all of that stuff. Egghead says, "Are you live during the bullpen?" I am. I think so. Yeah, I actually I messaged Tim. I tried to call Tim a little earlier, like, "Hey, jump on live with me," and he's like, "Dude, I'm already on a show." But this is the only time that I could get it done today. And like I said, man, I'm going to be trying to do a live as much as possible. Well, when they get done, maybe one of those guys will jump on over here. So it's just too much Jiu Jitsu content now, It's too many shows to pick from. So yeah, main thing that I want to talk is ADCC, who's in, who's out, and CJI, who's in, who's out. Of course, like a couple of massive announcements in the last couple of days for CJI. And I mean, mind-boggling announcements, particularly the one that came up today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to take a look at who's still in for ADCC. And if you notice as I'm going through this, like, yo, actually this guy flipped or he's out for some other reason, then let me know, and I will try to get it going. If you're on Instagram, thanks for watching on Instagram. I don't know if you guys can see the screen share or not, but if you can, then no problem. Hey, what's up, Daniel Sadler, PGF star up in the house? What's up, 10th Planet Calgary? Wes the Mess, which event am I going to? I'll let you know very soon. I was talking to the promoter of the event that I'm going to be attending. I was just talking to him not 20 minutes ago, and we're gonna make that announcement soon. What's up? The Moose is in the house. All right, so here we go. Let's start. You can see it on Facebook. Yeah, I checked all the platforms. It's available on. You can see it on all the platforms right now, so you should be able to see it. Okay, so let's start with the ADCC list, and we'll start with the 66 kg division. So minus 66. Now most of these guys are still going to be in because they're not going to be jumping in generally to a minus 80 bracket that only has 16 guys in it. So let's work through this list here. Diego, so Baby Shark, in. Owen Jones, the trials winner from Europe, in. Dorian Olivares, as far as I can tell, still in. That's one that I wouldn't be surprised to see flip. I actually think that his style is custom made for this format that Craig and these guys are doing. So that should be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Ethan Thomas. I actually don't know Ethan Thomas, but apparently he won the first Asian trials. Gairbek Ibrahimov. Now this dude, I got to see him at AIGA a couple of times, and this guy is serious, man. He is the real deal. I hope that they're able to get him over. I know sometimes like the Russian and Dagestani athletes have a tough time because of, like visa issues and stuff like that. So I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping Ibrahimov can make it happen. Then you got Cobrinha Jr., Kennedy Maciel, won the Brazilian trial. And this dude's on a tear right now. He's probably the best he's ever been. Fabricio Andre, the Hokage, and then the 66 kilo division for ADCC looks insane. DeAndre Corbett, Shu, Ethan Krellinston, and that's interesting. Has Ethan jumped over to CJI? I sort of feel like he has. Let me check this other list. He has not, as of today at least. So that's interesting. He's still sticking with ADCC. What do you guys think about that? You think he's gonna jump, or do you think they even want him over there? Ethan's a banger. Cal Gabriel, Ash Williams, Josh Cisneros, Keith Krikorian, Gabriel Sousa, and Diego Pato. Dude, 66 kilos has not taken a hit at all. You could argue it's the most exciting bracket that was going to be at ADCC anyway. So if you're like on team ADCC, don't worry. Your best bracket is still looking just fine. Like all the killers that you want to see are still in the 66 kg division. So you're not losing anything out of that. Does anybody have any word on Krellinston? Like, is he still in the game for that one? Has he made a switch that I haven't heard about yet? If you got the scoop on that, let me know. All right, so let's roll now to ADCC's 77 kilo division. This is the one that's taken the biggest hit, the 77 and the 88, in my opinion. Just announced this today, this morning, and this is nuts. Cade Rotolo, the defending champion from ADCC, went through the last ADCC with all subs through his bracket. Absolute animal, arguably the most exciting guy in Jiu Jitsu. Mega fan favorite. Cade Rotolo officially out of ADCC and in to CJI. That is massive. Massive. That's the biggest news that's come out so far, in my opinion. Howell Teague, what's up, my boy? Howell Kaiser, Sulabayev, another friend of mine. Jackson Spry, appreciate you guys joining. All right, rolling through the rest of the 77 kilo division. Elijah Dorsey. I think Elijah's a pretty decent contender for this bracket. Kenta Iwamoto, Luis Paulo Medeiros, Alexandre Jesus, JT Torres, Mika Galval. That's the big one that they were able to keep for ADCC. And I think this is another big one that they've kept as well. Dante Leon, PJ Barch, Jonatas Gracie, Oliver Taza, Mateusz Shashinsky, Davi Hamos. Like, that's still a serious bracket, even without Rotolo in it. So that's pretty serious. Good luck to you, Bo, in your judo testing. BP says, I think Ethan is staying in ADCC. CJI isn't the best bet for small guys, in my opinion. I'm with you. But it is just interesting that he's staying with it. I think that's interesting. 77 kilo division still looking good, man. I mean, yes, you lost your defending champion. Yes, that's a huge blow. It is. That's still a good bracket, man. And they still got a couple of spaces left. I got to wonder. I mean, now there's only because Ty Rotolo, they announced he's doing the under 80 as well. So he's cutting down into this division. So both the Rotolos in the same bracket. So that means they've only got 3 spots left for the under 80 for CJI. Pretty interesting. All right, let's roll to the men's 88 kilo. All right, here we go. All right, Giancarlo Bedoni. He's not switching. You know that. Santeri Lilius, Jacob Couts, Isaac Michelle. All those guys still in. Taylor Pearman, who looked awesome in the qualifiers, still in. Charles Negromonte, Pedro Mourinho, Lucas Kennard. This is the big loss here. Ty Rotolo. That's a major loss for them. Major loss. Again, the Rotolo brothers are just like the pinnacle of exciting, fun to watch jiu-jitsu. Lost both of them in the same day. That's crazy. Gabriel Almeida, J-Rod, J-Rod's still staying with ADCC as of now. I did see something on social, I think this morning, where he's kind of on the fence. Like he's feeling like maybe he needs, you know what I mean? Like maybe he needs to make the switch. Let's see what does Lee Matthews OMB say. BMAC, respect this man out here trying to bring some relevance to the ADC after this week's major losses to the CJI. Are you saying I'm trying to bring some respect to it? Man, look, ADCC's done quite a bit to bring respect on their own name. They don't need me. I mean, if you look at these brackets, they're really good. The 66, the 77, those are still really, really strong brackets. The 88 is losing steam. Gabriel Almeida, J-Rod, Elder Cruz, Porfirio, Aitken. I think that's a big pickup. He could do better than people think. Chris Wojcik, Fagner Hosha. 88 is still good. Look, that's still a world-class bracket. But man, that's tough. That's some tough losses out of there. You think Jay Manchi on Instagram says B team will probably share the million. He says it's all ruined. No, dude, I don't think it's ruined. Drew Darce, what's up, my boy? Drew Darce is the man. Okay, let's move on to the next bracket here. The men's minus 99. So Kynan Duarte staying put, it looks like. Luke Griffith staying put. Paul Ardila, which, man, if you kept up with ADCC at all, you know that Paul is a real killer, man. He's a winner. He's the most successful trials athlete probably of all time. And he hasn't had the success on the big show yet, but I think this could be his year right here. Declan Moody. Yeah, Declan was just in the EBI that I did in the EBI Absolute, EBI 20 or 21. Marcin, okay, I can't say this guy's name. Maysul, bro. I'm from Lawrence County. I can't do it. I don't know how to say that. Casio Felipe Costa, Enrique Ciccone, Michael Pixley, who got in as the trials winner with that very controversial win over Adam Bradley. The big man from Australia, Daniel Schwart. I met him in Kazakhstan when I was doing commentary for AIGA. Super cool guy, very funny. That classic Australian sense of humor. Cyborg back in. Lovato, Eli Braz, Nicholas Miragali, Alex Grandy. That's a interesting pickup, man. I like Grandy for this rule set. Patrick Gaudio and Javier Zaruski and Kyle Bain. Now they actually have 17 athletes listed here. That's interesting. That can't. Who am I missing that jumped ship? Anybody off that list jump ship? Moose and Drew chopping it up in the Instagram comments. Wes the Mess, is there enough talent out there that both events could be really successful? Yes. Not only is there enough talent, but there's enough viewership, there's enough eyeballs. I think maybe the community doesn't have the perspective that I mean, I have a unique perspective in the sport. Like I get to sit mat side for every single big show that there is. ADCC, EBI, PGF, UFC Fight Pass, over and over, EBI, Combat Jiu Jitsu. Every one of them, I get to sit mat side. And I'm telling you, there are more eyeballs and attention on the sport from a viewership, from a consumer's perspective, and from a sponsor perspective. There's more dollars in the sport than there's ever been. And both of those numbers are increasing exponentially right now, just flying upwards. It's on a vertical climb. I get to hear a lot of the conversations that are happening inside these promotions with the administrators and the people who are making these things happen. I'm telling you, there's enough to go around. There's enough athletes, there's enough viewers, and there's enough dollars. It's just a matter of the promoters learning how to grab the dollars and deliver the value for the sponsors. But the money is there. We just got to learn how to grab it. I'm telling you guys, the sport's in a place it's never been before, and there's going to be a lot of winners that come out of all this. There's going to be a lot of winners, and the sport's going to be in a different place in a couple of years, maybe in the next 12 months. ADCC's, yes, that's right. ADCC is going to be fine. That's right, Rob. 1 in 90 kilograms of moving divisions. Who is it? Who's moving divisions? Let me know. I'm going to move on to the men's plus 99 here. All right, men's plus 99. This has Gordon Ryan listed in the bracket. Now, that to me seems like that can't be correct, right? He's doing 2 super fights. Here's something else I want to know. Is the made match with Pena, is that going to count as an ADCC gold on his record? I feel like that one shouldn't count the same way as the others because it's not against a super fight winner. It's just like a new category. Look, it would be, it's awesome. It's awesome, but I feel like it's not of the same gold medal, ADCC gold count. I already kind of feel like that about the super fights anyway. Like, obviously, beating Andre Galval in any way whatsoever is unbelievably impressive, much less the way that Gordon did it. It's mind-boggling. Gordon, obviously, to me, the best practitioner in the sport. But I feel differently about the bracket winner than I do the super fight winner. I think most people probably feel that way, but you guys let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. Who's in the super fight? Samson Rogers said, who's in the super fights? Right now it's Gordon versus Yuri Shimoas, who is the winner of last year's Absolute, and it's Gordon versus Felipe Pena. So 2 Gordon matches as super fights. Very interesting. So, okay, we got Gordon, we got Heki Jusala, Big Dan Monasoyu, Josh Saunders, Mark McQueen, Victor Honorio, Mike Perez. Great story. Him winning the U.S. trials as an undersized athlete. Very cool. Mansur Makhmanov. Hey, man, that's hard to say. Mansur Makhmanov. Gutenberg Pereira, Felipe Pena, Vinny Magalhaes, Vince Pizzuto, John Hansen, Roosevelt Souza, and then we got 2 more spots, but I think we actually got 3 more spots because Gordon, to my understanding, is not in the bracket, but he's still listed on their official site. So who knows, man? Who knows where we're at right now? I'll jump over into these Instagram comments for a second here. Rob says, rising tide lifts all ships. 100%, dude. Hi, J-Lo. The Jiu-Jitsu golden era coming up. Jay Schmoof says, unless Jiu-Jitsu can get more casuals, it can't really grow. But that's what I'm telling you. It has more casuals watching than ever before. I can just tell you, just from my experience as the PGF promoter, we have tons of people who do not do jiu-jitsu that watched every episode and every minute of the PGF and kept up with it the entire time. And honestly, even if we never bring in casuals, the number of people doing jiu-jitsu and interested in sport jiu-jitsu now is just growing astronomically because the number of people doing jiu-jitsu is larger. And so the viewership is going to continue to grow, even if no casuals ever watch. So, how can the sport grow if it's based on donors? Well, the sport is not based on donors. So, yeah, I think this particular CJI event is starting out by being based on a donor, but I think that they're going to find a way to turn this into, and I don't think it's going to be very hard, honestly. I think they're going to find a way to turn this into eyeballs and into revenue. Schmoof says only a few athletes are. I feel like Schmoof. I feel like you're off on a lot of this. I feel like a lot of your takes are off. Nasty Nestor 98. CJI is winning either way because the athletes are getting paid in both, thanks to Craig. Okay. Drew Dar says it's not just based on donors. A lot of sponsors were involved in PGF, FPI, etc. Sponsors are loving live sports content in 2024. So, and then Schmoof, I just feel like you're off, dog. I appreciate you participating in the chat, but you know, I feel like you got some interesting takes on this situation here that are off base. Samson Rogers, still a stacked ADCC. Yeah, dude. Very stacked. My PhD in Austin. Thanks, Brandon, for being a great teacher. Good morning from Southeast Asia. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you watching. Any inside info on how many views EBI gets? No, honestly, none whatsoever. The only information that you're going to get from any streaming service. So, one of the things that any streaming service does, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, UFC Fight Pass, ESPN Plus, streaming services do not let you know your viewership numbers, your retention, any of the information you would get off like a YouTube video. Like this, when I get off and when I hit end live and I can look at the analytics on this. I can see how many people clicked the thumbnail. I can see how many people, how long they stayed, how many people viewed it, what links they clicked. You don't get any of that when you work with a streaming service. So we have all our numbers for PGF regular season because that was all on YouTube. We did 1.2 million views during the regular season, which is crazy. It's got to be the most watched jiu-jitsu event of all time up to this point. CJI might beat those numbers, but up to this point, we still got them. But how many did we get on the finale? What did all of that lead into? We don't know because that was behind the paywall on Fight Pass. I can tell you they were happy. So we're going to be doing it again with Fight Pass. Mark Zuckerberg will invest in BJJ. Which other billionaires are addicted to BJJ? I do think Zuckerberg is going to be in play eventually. I think somebody's going to partner up with Meta to host it on their platforms. You know, like we're hosting on YouTube. I think eventually we're gonna get somebody's going to partner up and do it with Meta. Somebody's going to do it, be the first one to do a giant money tournament live in the metaverse. That's going to be crazy. Eddie Bravo said before they told him something, not viewership count, but maybe ranking compared to other events. Okay, now I can tell you that EBI does very, very, very well. So does Combat Jiu Jitsu. The numbers are very good. They're surprisingly good. That's all that really we have is that the UFC will tell us, hey, this is doing great. All right. Oh, Boogeyman. Richie Martinez is joining us. What's up, Richie? Looks like fun brackets on both events. I'm here for it all. 100%, dude. The brackets are going to be insane. What's my take on CJI and ADCC being on the exact same days? I think that's kind of the way it's got to be. Craig's essentially pitching a protest, leading a protest in favor of this idea that he has, and you can't protest on the weekends. You got to protest when everybody's at work. You know what I mean? When it interferes with the business. So that's like market disruption 101. Where's my other stream? This is streaming to X and YouTube and Facebook, right, and Instagram actually. Right now, so we're streaming on 4 platforms. What do I think of a Yoda in a kimono black belt tattoo? I don't know if I'd do that, player. Roger Grapples, I'm only here because I love BMAC and his insight and accurate pulse of the sport. Appreciate that, Roger. Yeah, a lot of new people training every day, all the time now, Drew. All right, let's roll down to the female brackets. So this is something that ADCC really has over CJI right now. They have the big time women's matchup with Fionn versus Mackenzie Dern, which mind-boggling announcement. That's going to be the biggest match in the history of women's jiu-jitsu. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see that matchup. I think Fionn's jiu-jitsu is like top of the food chain, male or female. She's phenomenal. She's right up there with the best in our sport. And Dern's a champion. And she's in phenomenal shape. She's fight ready, but she's been dedicating on most of her focus to MMA. So it should be really interesting. I got to think that Fionn is the favorite heading into that match, but I can't count Mackenzie Dern out. But let's talk female under 55. Margot Ciccarelli, Anna Rodriguez, Jasmine Rocha. Jasmine, super fun to watch. Adele Fornerino, Maisa Bastos, in my opinion, she's the favorite leading into that bracket. Alex Enriquez, one of my favorite female grapplers to watch, and Brenda Larissa. There's still one spot left right there in that female minus 55. Female minus 65. Arlie Laverne, just got to see her at UFC Fight Pass Invitational at the last one. She did very well. Anna Carolina Vieta, gangster. Helena Cravar, gangster. Suleiman Loventhal. Brianna St. Marie. This is a killer bracket. Bia Mosquita, Amanda Levy, Mo Black. All right, I'm going to step out right here, and I'm going to call you a favorite for this bracket. You guys ready? I'm calling Amanda Levy as my favorite for that bracket. I think Amanda Levy is going to take that thing. She's very underrated. And she was going to win. She was probably going to win the trials on the West Coast. And she got injured in the semifinal. Or, yeah, I think that's right, if I'm remembering correctly. All right, and then the female plus 65 division. Amy Campo, returning champion. Nia Blackman, Maria Riffato, Elizabeth Mitrovic. She looked awesome at the West Coast trials. Nikki Lloyd Griffiths, Natalie DeJesus, and Kendall Rusing. Man, what a crazy. This is great. 3 divisions now for the ladies. I think that's big, man. I think that's huge. So I feel like ADCC, as far as the ladies divisions goes, ADCC still leading, even though the biggest ladies match is going to be over on CJI. Boogeyman says, what team do you think takes the most medals home that weekend? Man, it could be. Sheesh, you talking about just ADCC? Let me look and see. Total medals or golds? I mean, look, man, we got a bunch of 10th Planet guys in there now, a lot more than we had a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going with the home team, dude. Just gut feeling, I'm going with the home team. Let's go 10P. Golds, I got to think that in the male plus 99, assuming that Gordon is out, right? We're assuming that Gordon is not, and that becomes the favorite in there. Maybe Felipe Pena becomes the favorite behind Gordon. I could see, I could see Vinny getting in there and making a real run. Yeah, maybe John Hansen could make a medal run in that bracket. In the male minus 99, I think that Kynan is your heavy favorite in that rule set, but his last matchup that he had with Luke Griffith at UFC Fight Pass Invitational showed that he's very vulnerable. And we know that Kynan can be kind of hot and cold. He can be hit or miss. So, yeah, I don't know. He's got to be my favorite going in, but I could see no. I take that back. He's not my favorite. Miragali's my favorite. Miragali's not on the list until number 13. I was expecting him to be up near the top. Miragali in the minus 99. Disregard everything I just said. Miragali hands down my favorite to win the minus 99 division. Big Banks, can I hop on the mic with you right now? No, unfortunately, you cannot. Thank you, though. Wish there was a 10th planet in North Dakota. Is there anything in North Dakota, though, honestly? Is there literally anything there at all besides snow and regret? Because I don't think there is. I haven't been there, so I don't know. Men's minus 88. Who's my favorite in there? Well, Bodoni's the returning champion. I like Bodoni in this rule set a lot. I think my boy Ryan Aitken is going to surprise some people in there. I like Isaac Michelle in this bracket. I think Isaac is very, very tough. I think Isaac would have gone. I mean, he had a tough match with Rocha last time. A lot of people feel like he won that match. So, yeah, I think Isaac Michelle's my dark horse in that bracket, but I'm sticking with Bodoni. Santiago Lilius, really good too, man. Minus 77. Rotolo out. Mika Galval, no question about it. Then I'll go Dante Leon and PJ Barch as my next two. I think Elijah Dorsey's going to do some damage in that bracket. You know who I'd really like to see have a big weekend is Mateusz Jashinsky. I'm just a huge fan of Mateusz, of his work. But I think Mika has to be like the hands down favorite for that bracket. No question about it. ADCC keeping Mika was really big. I'm going to check out this Instagram chat right here. BMAC, you've stated you're retired from comp. Would you come back for a super fight legends type match? No. I don't want to train like that anymore. So, no. Yeah, I just don't want to train that way. I wish John, we keep it real on Instagram says, I wish John Blank was in there, an exciting competitor. Yeah, man. Thor. I'm actually surprised that Thor didn't make a move to try to get into ADCC this time. That surprised me. All right, let's go to 66, men 66. I mean, Baby Shark's your defending champion. This bracket hasn't really taken a hit at all from CJI. This is, in my opinion, by far the highest level bracket that's out there over the course of the entire weekend. This one is a killer. I can see Baby Shark winning. Man, I could see a guy like Ibrahimov coming out there and doing really well if he can get visa issues all sorted out. I think Dorian Olivares could do better than people think. I feel like in 2024, Keith Krikorian is a guy who can win any bracket that he enters, no matter who's in it. Pato, man. Pato could be the man in this bracket too. This one could go a bunch of different ways, man. This one's tough. That's a tough call. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll hold off on this one right now. I got to think about this. So I got to put a lot more thought into this one before I just throw something out there, because 66 could go a million different ways. Let me know who you think is going to win this 66 kg bracket. Yeah, Drew Dar says Pato is going to do well. Schmoof says Pato. There you go, Schmoof. Now we're on the same page. I think Pato is probably the man for that one. Baby Shark or Pato. Yeah, dude, exactly. Richie said AOJ Pato is a new type of beast. Yeah, dude, he looks like he could be the one right now. So if somebody's going to take out Baby Shark, I think it's probably him. You know I got to pull for the home team, though. So I'll be unashamedly pulling for Keith Krikorian to win the bracket. But, yo, that's a crazy bracket. So I don't know. Okay. So let's start talking CJI. So I'm going to pull this one up. Here's who we got for CJI for the under 80. Now, this is outdated a little bit because we have added both of the Tackett brothers to this. I'm sorry, both of the Rotolo brothers to this bracket, which is crazy. To me, that's the biggest news that's come out so far. Both the Rotolos jumping in to the minus 80. And they got to be thinking, yo, if one of us wins the bracket, let's just split it down the middle. We both leave with we got a 1 in 8 chance of leaving with a half a mil. Man, of both of them leaving with a half a mil. That's crazy. Boogie says this ADCC training camp has been crazy for Keith Krikorian. He's reaching new levels. Yo, I'm telling you, Keith is always reaching new levels. You know, just as a guy who's watching from the outside, you get a whole different perspective being his coach. But when I watch from the outside, Keith's always hitting new levels. You know, I thought he would level off a little bit, but he's really not, man. He keeps stepping up his game. So how can you not be a Keith Krikorian fan? Literally might be the nicest person in jiu-jitsu. Just an adorable person who's also like a hardworking murder machine. Like that's hard to beat, man. What a great guy. Love Keith Krikorian. All right, let's take a look at this minus 80 for CJI. Andy Varela, the reigning PGF champion. Andy Varela in the minus 80. Jason Knopf, I love this pickup. I absolutely love this pickup. I think it makes the bracket way more interesting. It brings new eyeballs in. Levi Jones Leary, that's another cool pickup. I wonder how his style is going to play with this 3-round must scoring system. I'm actually interested to see the way that plays out with everybody, but you know, Levi Jones Leary is mainly known as a guard player, back attacker, so I don't know how that's going to work out for him. Tommy Langecker, huge Langecker fan. Langecker has a great rubber guard as well. Owen O'Flanagan. It says O O'Flanagan, but it's E. It's Owen O'Flanagan. Love that pickup. He's cutting a lot of weight to make this division. Speaking of cutting a lot of weight, Mateus Denise, former ADCC champion and he's a guy walking around at 100 kilos, cutting down to under 80. That's crazy. My boy, Renato Canuto, another PGF vet, one of the most exciting guys to watch in all of jiu-jitsu, any division. Nicky Ryan, Joseph Chin, Andrew Tackett, Hulk Barbosa, dude. And then both the Rotolos, which means there's 3 invites left by my count. If I'm missing somebody, let me know. But I think that leaves 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. My PhD in awesomeness says, can you talk about why the CJI rule set is so exciting? Not yet, I can't, because I don't think there's enough information about the rule set out there to where I can really like wax eloquently about what's going to make it cool or not cool. So really all we know right now is it's 3 5-minute rounds until the final, which is going to be 5 5-minute rounds, and that the rounds are going to be scored like MMA, which is like a 10-point must system. So 10 to the winner, 9 or less to the loser of the round, and that they're going to have open scoring. But what's going to be the scoring criteria? Actually, I don't think anybody knows right now. So I'm eagerly awaiting to get more information so that I can start breaking these down and doing a little more prognosticating on who's going to move to the front of the pack. Yeah, Ryan Aitken in the last EBI was insane. A huge win for the 10th Planet team and more PGF. Well, we do have a lot more PGF coming. Trust me, man. There's a lot more coming for the PGF. Season 7 cracking off in November, and we're going to do some pretty interesting things I think you guys are going to really love. If you liked what we did last time, then you're going to freak out over this one. And going back to somebody was saying that there's not enough money pumping through the sport. I'm collecting sponsorships for PGF. I can tell you that everything's going to be fine. All these promotions are going to be fine. I signed a new sponsor this morning, or yesterday actually, and it's going to be fine, guys. The sport's is in a good place, and I think it's sport's in good hands. Rasco Hearn says Jet Thompson should get an invite. Hey, man, the kid's serious. I wish he was big enough to come do the next season of PGF, but not. He's just a little undersized. All right, over 80 division for CJI. Adam Bradley, who sort of got the snub and then turned around and gave his own snub back to ADCC. That was an interesting pickup. Big Nicky Rod, Max Jimenez, who's a real destroyer. You know, he had a big win over Big Dan not that long ago. Owen Livesley, Victor Hugo. Man, he might be the favorite to win that bracket. I mean, Hugo is incredible. Felipe Andrew is a gi world champion. Mason Fowler, one of my favorite grapplers in the world. Luke Rockhold, interesting pickup. I mean, I haven't seen that much of Luke Rockhold's grappling outside of his MMA career, but man, everybody that's rolled with him talks about how and just like you can't believe how good he is at jiu-jitsu. So William Tackett, could William Tackett be the guy who wins this bracket? Don't sleep on him. João Gabriel Rocha, Roberto Jimenez, another one of my favorite grapplers. Roberto, if you ever see this, I want you in the PGF, dude. I want you in PGF for season 7. Please make it happen. Tell me what I need to do to make it happen. If you made your own bmac invitational, what's one rule you'll change versus the ADCC rule set? Dude, you could just watch the PGF and you would see how I would do it. We've done 6 of them so far, popping off the 7th one in November. And so, yeah, you want to see what I would do with a rule set? Watch that. It's not either of these things. It's neither the CJI format nor the ADCC format. It's very, very different from both of those. I just want to see the bad guy get an invite to either promotion. Now, by the bad guy, do you mean Elijah Carlton or do you mean Chael Sonnen? Because I'd like to see either of those things. All right, let's flip over to the Instagram real quick. Check out some of these comments. Ryan Aiken joined us over here on the Instagram. That's cool. The combat jiu-jitsu 2-time world champion, the EBI world champion. No, Keith was invited. He didn't qualify. GGVS Christmas, are you going to do commentary for CJI? How much money would it take? Well, I'll tell you, I am going to be doing commentary for one of the events that weekend. I am definitely going to be in Vegas for the weekend, but I'll let you guys know which direction that's going to be going in the next couple of days. So let's see here. West the Mess, rooting for Andy Varela for sure. Okay, this is interesting. So Drew Darce breaking this news. Cade also told Ariel Helwani they'll probably be on opposite sides of the bracket. Okay. All right. Who do you think's going to win ADCC? We just talked about that. Put the brothers on the same side so they don't close out. I don't think you got to worry about that. I don't think the brothers are going to close out. They'll try to kill each other. They're going to go. They want to be the man at Thanksgiving for the rest of eternity. I think they'll fight like their life depends on it. Yeah. Tackett, Ryan, and Varela. This bracket is a must watch. Promotions are fine, but do not have the same payout as CJI. Let's see here. All right, guys. I think that's about it for me. Actually, hold on one second. I'll come back and answer a couple of these. Let me jump over here for just 1 second. Oh, just had to get that answer at the door real quick. Okay. So yeah, Libby, you want to see the jabroni, and man, I would love that. Nothing would make me happier than to see Elijah end up in one of these events. It won't be ADCC. He just hasn't done enough ADCC style events for them to make that call. But I mean, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility we could see him in the CJI. If not this time, then maybe next time. Sean Cannon, what are your predictions for other CJI super fights? Are we going to see Marcelo Garcia? This is the big question. Are we going to see Marcelo Garcia? Man, I hope so. I get that feeling like that's still coming down the line, right? And there's rumors that it could be Hoffa Mendez as well. But just based on the way Craig was talking about who the super fight was going to be, it just leads me to feel like it's got to be Marcelo. When he was talking on Joe Rogan's show about it, it leads me to think it's got to be Marcelo. And could you think of anything better than if Marcelo made the move and went to CJI? That would be, I mean, that would, I feel like that would break the Jiu Jitsu internet if that happened. I mean, plus just the story, the narrative of him coming to, I mean, the amazing jiu-jitsu story ever. I'm dying for it to be true. I hope it's true. Rasco Hearn, PGF in the Karate Combat Pit for season 7. It's not outside the realm of possibility. We've definitely talked about it. I mean, we talked about it before season 1. We had the idea to put jiu-jitsu in a bowl. We were thinking like a bowl. But that idea, we've been playing with it since the beginning. Like we were thinking about building our own. I don't know. It's more complex than just like throw it up there. You know what I mean? There's a lot that has to go into it. So I don't know. Keelan is really pushing me for it. I'm not 100% on it. So go back to the Instagram comments here for a second. Main character joined. Hey, by the way, whatever you're doing this weekend, main character is going to be on fightflix.tv. I'm going to be in the house. It's going to be me and Andrew Tackett on commentary. We're going to have a pretty solid event lined up for you. You've got the main event is Andy Varela, reigning PGF world champion. Andy Varela taking on Joseph Chin. That's killer. I'm really hoping that that match turns out as good as it could. So that's a killer one. Travis Thomas versus Michael Carpenter. Those of you that know Travis Thomas, you know that he's one of the best up and coming guys in the world right now. So that's a killer matchup. A lot of other ones. Sofia Casella's on the card. My boy Nick, Nogi Nick on Instagram. Nick Soff is on the card. Christian is bomb. Do you think athletes like the Rotolo brothers leaving ADCC makes those brackets less of a legacy builder for athletes? I mean, it definitely is a touch on at least this event. It is. Like, you can't deny that. It's a huge shakeup. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great time to be in the sport, especially like from the seat I sit in, where I'm not on either one of these teams. You know what I mean? I'm sitting back. I'm just trying to cover the sport. I'm just a guy who's interested in the sport. So that's very, very interesting. But I do super duper vibe with what Craig's ultimate goal is with this thing, which is to get the athletes paid. And I also vibe with a lot of what Mo's trying to do, man, which is to try to get more eyeballs and attention and sponsorship money flowing into the sport and trying to legitimize it as a real sport. And, whether or not you feel that he's done a good job of that, there's no question that that's his goal. And I vibe with that too, man. So, I mean, the sport's I just keep saying it, but the sport's just in an unbelievable place. Like there's no way we're taking steps backwards now. Like we're on a rocket ship now, guys. West the Mess Tempe. I think it's too early to say ADCC has lost any prestige. They've done so much so far. 1 year with drama doesn't count out everything they've done in the past. Never know what your future holds, though. Hey, and listen, I think ADCC's got a lot of plays still left to make. I would not be shocked if ADCC comes in and yes, I've been live the entire time. I would not be shocked if ADCC pops in at the last second and pays all these guys big that stayed loyal to the squad and stayed with ADCC. That wouldn't shock me at all if Mo just lays in the cut until everything's announced and everything's final, and then ends up hooking these dudes up big time and increases the pay. That wouldn't shock me if he just wants to lay around and see who stays with him before he commits to upping the pay. But and if he does that, then CJI wins that exchange also in a lot of ways because they can say that they forced his hand. So, and what if that happens? What then everybody wins again. So I really just feel like everything that happens right here is just the sport and the athletes just keep winning more and more every time there's a new announcement. So yeah, I'm just pumped, dude. I've never been more excited to be. I never followed jujitsu more closely, and I've followed jujitsu about as close as you can for almost 20 years. Let's hope the CJI actually goes well. Yep, I agree with that. I hope it goes well. Jake Watson joined us. Do you think CJI was influenced by the recent PJF? You paid the athletes more, etc. I don't know. I like to think that we had a hand in at least starting that conversation for everybody. You know, I like to think that, Rob. What up, Jake? PGF gang out here. Oh, yeah. Francisco Vasquez, Bates. I love the fact that you and him and others are paying BJJ athletes. I wish it was like that back when I was in the game. Oh, the Flying Avocado Cat has joined us on Instagram. The Flying Avocado Cat. These guys, I'll tell you about this now. The Flying Avocado Cat. It's a crypto token. And I was in an event in Cancun this weekend. And these guys sponsored the event, but not just sponsored it, like put budget into it. They put crypto in every athlete's pocket and then they tokenized the event. So, like, this was brilliant. Dude, I thought this was just ultra brilliant. They gave you more crypto based on your performance during the match. So rather than penalizing negative behavior, like penalizing stalling, penalizing boring or illegal techniques, they chose to incentivize and reward positive behavior, which of course, if you got kids, that's the best way to raise them, right? Like, yes, you have to punish bad behavior, but mostly what you want to be doing is rewarding good behavior. So while the matches were EBI rules, which is sub only and overtime, just standard EBI rules, it was if you pulled off certain techniques, you got extra crypto and you banked extra crypto to take home with you, even if you lost the match. So, like if you won the match by submission, they give you 300 tokens. If you won in overtime, you got either 1 or 200 extra tokens based on how you won in overtime. If you got a takedown in like a clean takedown past the guard and into side control, they gave you like 75 tokens. And there were other little ways that you could add tokens to your bank just scattered throughout the rule set. And I thought it was just absolutely brilliant. The winner of the event was ended up being Kyle Chambers. He took home $2,000 US, but he also took home a bag of like 3,000 of these tokens, which if he doesn't want to, I don't want to do crypto. Cool, just go cash them out and then you got a couple of extra grand in your pocket. I thought it was brilliant, dude. And those guys are trying to make a play to get into the jiu-jitsu space. I don't want to get preemptive with any announcements about any promotions that are going to be involved with them moving forward, but I can tell you that these guys are trying to make a play and that they're passionate about helping pay athletes and push jiu-jitsu forward. So shout out to those guys. I love what they were up to. Go follow them. And if you're like a crypto dude, go buy you a moon bag, dude. Spend you a couple of $100 and just sit on it. You might lose it all. It's very small cap. It's very volatile. This is not financial advice, obviously, but if you're like, hey, I want to take a gamble. This is one of those that could. It's still small, so it could turn into 100. Could turn into 10,000. Who knows? Egghead says the PGF will inevitably influence all of jiu-jitsu. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Yeah, boy. And that is the idea. I want to have the baddest league of all time. Brave Little Spidey says, I was watching the FAC matches. I like the gi bottom. I thought that was interesting. I didn't care about that part as much. Like the way that they had the uniform where you had to wear the gi pants and the rash guard. I thought that was whatever. I kind of take or leave that. It's an interesting twist. But to me, the most fascinating part of that event was, without question, was the FAC token thing, the tokenization of it. And I just thought it was brilliant. And I want to steal as much of that as I can. Ryan Peterson says, yo, bmac, are you going to any of the jiu-jitsu tournaments this year? I don't think so. I mean, we might end up having some guys show up for one of the tournaments, but my schedule is pretty much packed every weekend between now and the end of the year. I really don't have any free weekends at all. Did they grab the gi pants? No, they didn't let them grab the pants. They just made them wear the pants. Oh, and Flying Avocado Cat is in the comments. Let's go. Hey, Coach Semper Fi, bmac for president. I do not want to be the president. I'm going to be the president of jiu-jitsu. Jay Schmoof says, what does he say? Airdrop, with the exception of BTC and ETH and other ones with some utility. I didn't catch your comment before that, but it's probably something along the lines of be careful with any crypto that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I would echo that sentiment. You don't want to be a guy who just jumps in and does stuff with crypto without a little bit of homework and kind of understand what you're getting into. A lot of people can get scammed with that stuff, so you got to be careful. Having said that, I did go buy a little moon bag of that Flying Avocado token just because I know they're trying to support jiu-jitsu. So for me, that was enough. I don't really care if it ever makes any money or if it goes to zero. They're trying to do something cool. So for jiu-jitsu, and that's my people. So they're putting down for the squad. I'm going to put down for the squad. I support who supports the sport. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thinking on it. Craig said Luke put it on. Talking about Luke Rockhold. Yeah, I heard that. I heard him saying that. Big Bank said I should be the president of everything. That is incorrect. I should not be the president of very many things, maybe no things. Oh, Brave Little Spidey says he had to stop training. Had a rough year. Sorry to hear that, dog. I hope everything's okay with you. Hope you get your stuff put together. Flying Avocado Cat says, yeah, glad you guys liked what we were doing. I'm fascinated by it. He says, but Grok made us. That's true. So this is one of the interesting spins on this token is that it was made by Grok, which is the AI on the X platform, which it's crazy. It's crazy. It wrote the contract. It did all this stuff. So look into it. Interesting. If you're a guy who likes to take a risk, take a run at stuff, that's a fun one to take a play at. So I got me a little bag in case it blows up. Got me a little bag just because they're supporting jiu-jitsu. So support the ones that support the sport. All right, guys, that's it for me right now. Again, trying to go live at least once a day for the foreseeable future. I feel like it's important to get on here, especially while the sport's popping off like this, and communicate with you guys. And as I get breaking news, as I get things, which, hey, I do get things sometimes like this breaking news right here. When does the next PGF start? We haven't even announced it yet, but I'll tell you right now, it's November 3rd through the 9th. We got 3 that's going to be in Las Vegas, and we got 3 qualifiers. August 24th, we're doing a qualifier in Austin, Texas at 10th Planet. September 14th, we're doing a qualifier at One Nation in Nashville, Tennessee. And then September 28th at 10th Planet Henderson, the PGF Las Vegas qualifier. We're going to hold 6 spots for athletes from the qualifiers. 3 automatic qualifiers are the winners. And then we're taking 3 athletes that impress us or that we feel like is a good fit while we're there. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out for now. Shoot me a DM if you need me. I love you very